Here are the top stories for today, April 22, 2022. The Commission on Elections postpones its last leg of presidential and vice presidential debates as financial issues mars the holding of the event. Comelec requires daycare centers to open on Election Day where mothers may leave their children as they vote. The government gears up for the rollout of the second COVID-19 booster shots expected to start next week. And an art exhibit in Catanduanes shows that Abaca paper may also serve as an art material. Good day, I'm Marita Muahe. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The final presidential and vice presidential debates organized by the Commission on Elections have been postponed. Originally scheduled tomorrow and on Sunday, these debates have been moved to April 30 and May 1. This, as the Comelec says, there are financial issues that need to be sorted out between Vote Pilipinas and Sofitel. Comelec Commissioner George Garcia said a representative of Sofitel asked for their help in collecting payment from their partner group Vote Pilipinas for the use of their venue in the previous debates. The amount to be collected is said to be 14 million pesos. However, Garcia said Comelec is not a party to the contract. Meanwhile, he said the kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas has offered to mount the last two legs of the debates. President Rodrigo Duterte reiterates his appeal to candidates to resort to clean and honest elections. He said failure to do so is an insult to all Filipinos. Duterte said he will invoke the Alunan Doctrine, which limits the number of armed guards of politicians in the country. During the 43rd commencement exercises of the Philippine National Police Academy Alab-Cali's class of 2022, he advised PNA cadets who could be assigned as bodyguards of candidates to ensure that this is strictly followed.
Yung mga politiko, ang dapat lang sa kanila according to the Alunan Doctrine na more than 2 armed is already a private army. Kaya nang sinabi ko sa lahat ng politiko, give us a clean and honest elections. Huwag ninyong, kasi insulto sa atin yan sa inyo. In a few days, a few months, you would be on active duty. Yan lang ang tandaan ninyo. And if you happen to be assigned to security, di sabihin mo lang doon sa amo mo na, sir, ito ang limitasyon, ito lang talaga ang magawa ko. I cannot be a part of the politics here and I am only duty-bound to obey what is the mandate of the law. Yan ang tandem.
Meanwhile, the Chief Executive urged the graduates of the PNPA Class 2022 to maintain their professionalism by heeding the call of duty without acting beyond their legal parameters.
I urge you to sustain the same level of courage, determination, and passion in the performance of your duty as the newest officers of the Philippine National Police and Bureau of Fire Protection and the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. Always be reminded that the core of your profession is and will always be the welfare of our people. I likewise encourage the fresh graduates to be key players in the modernization of the force. You must maintain professionalism, for you will soon take up over its leadership and will be the role models of future Filipino law enforcers.
Over 300,000 ballots did not pass through testing, as some were found with smudged and imperfect cut forms. Commission on Elections Commissioner George Garcia said the poll body will first complete the reprinting and the printing of other forms. Then the destruction of the rejected ballots will follow. Meanwhile, the Comelec in Negros Oriental advised registered voters to bring a list of their preferred candidates to avoid ballot spoilage. The official ballots allocated for Negros Oriental will arrive on April 29. Its delivery to the city and municipal treasurers, meanwhile, is set on May 3 for safekeeping. The Commission on Elections is requiring all local government units to open daycare centers on Election Day. The PO body said one of the barriers to women's political participation is the care for their children during Election Day. Most mothers have difficulty finding somebody to take care of their children while casting votes. As such, opening daycare centers during May 9 elections will enable parents to leave their kids and proceed to the poll precincts. Daycare centers will be open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. alongside the voting hours. More routes are expected to be added to the free ride program in the next few days. This as the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB expanded its Libreng Sakay program. LTFRB Executive Director Tina Casion said each route headed to the North Luzon Express Terminal and the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange will have 32 public utility vehicles offering free rides under the program. The LTFRB operates free rides at the EDSA Busway Carousel from 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. The Department of Health announced the nationwide rollout of the second booster shot against coronavirus disease will start on Monday. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III earlier said the second booster doses are initially intended for immunocompromised individuals aged 18 and above. Those who have already grabbed their first booster for at least 3 months may avail of the fourth jab. DOH added they will use AstraZeneca, Moderna, Pfizer, Sinopharm, and Sinovac brands for the rollout.
Yung patungkol sa ating pag-rollout ng second booster dose, ito'y nililimitahan muna natin para doon sa mga individual na immunocompromised. So, sa ngayon, ang akin inaprubahan batay sa rekomendasyon ng Health Technology Assessment Council ay yung second booster dose para lamang sa mga immunocompromised na mga pasyente katulad ng mga taong mga nakatanggap ng organ transplant, mga taong umiinom ng mga gamot para sa kanilang immunosuppressives. Ito yung mga nagkaroon ng mga kidney transplant, yung mga pasyente na cancer, yung mga HIV/AIDS patients, yung mga taong meron chronic dialysis, no? At yung mga taong meron untreated HIV/AIDS, taong may mga primary immunodeficiencies, no? At mga individual na diagnosed na meron talaga silang kahinaan sa kanilang immune system. Ano?
Still ahead, the government assures it is continuously addressing calls for genuine land reform. We're back after a quick break. Keep it here on the PNA Newsroom.
Commander Editor Campo po ng Philippine Coast Guard Auxiliary para sa kumpanyang Disiplina Muna na pinangungunahan ng DILG. Bakit natin kailangan magpabakuna laban sa COVID-19? Dahil mahal mo ang iyong sarili, pamilya at bayan. Ang bakuna ang tiyak na paraan para tuluyang mapigilan ang pagkalat ng virus. May mga patunay na mababa ang porsyento ng pagkalat ng COVID-19 sa mga nabakunahan na. At matapos mabakunahan, malaki na ang tsansa na makabalik ka sa normal mong pamumuhay. Kaya tulad ko magparehistro na at magpabakuna na kontra COVID-19. Muli po, ako si Commander Dieter Ocampo, Disiplina Muna Ambassador. Nagpapaalala, huwag matakot magpabakuna dahil bida ang may disiplina. Magparehistro tayo at magpabakuna para sa ligtas na pamilya, ligtas na bayan.
The Duterte administration is continuously addressing the long-standing pleas of farmers and indigenous people for genuine land reform. Acting Presidential Spokesperson Secretary Martin Andanar said over 229,000 hectares of agricultural lands were already distributed from July 2016 to May 2021. 57 certificates of ancestral domain titles were also issued, covering nearly 1 million hectares, benefiting some 257,000 IPs. Malacanang made the statement after presidential candidate Leody de Guzman called on the government to address the land grabbing of ancestral lands. On Tuesday, de Guzman, together with leaders of the Manobo-Pulangion tribe, visited a disputed land area in Bukidnon where a shooting incident took place. The Police Regional Office Northern Mindanao is looking into the alleged involvement of 5 security guards in the attack against the camp of presidential aspirant Leody de Guzman in Bukidnon. Authorities conducted an inspection after receiving information against Kiantig Farms security guards. They have confiscated guards' firearms because they were not wearing their uniforms. The guards also failed to show proof of election gun ban exemption. De Guzman's camp went to the area with a group of Manobo-Pulangion, indigenous people, last Tuesday when the shooting happened. At least 4 persons were wounded in the incident. Smugglers allegedly convert palm oil for animal feeds into cooking oil to get away from tariffs, according to the Department of Agriculture. DA Undersecretary Fermin Adriano disclosed that technical smugglers are resorting to the RBD procedures, or the refined, bleached, and deodorized process. He mentioned the RBD after several lawmakers criticized DA over the alleged 45 billion peso revenue loss due to palm oil smuggling. Adriano noted they have been investigating it as early as last year together with the Anti-Red Tape Authority. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Animal Industry implemented mandatory submission of utilization reports from palm oil importers. Under the law, palm oil for animal use is exempted from tariffs, contrary to that of imported oil for human consumption. The House Committee of Ways and Means fully supports Executive Department to combat agricultural smuggling. Committee Chairperson Joey Salceda said they are eyeing significant amendments to the existing customs and tariff laws. The panel assured they will respond to any budget or policy request from the executive. Moreover, Salceda commended the actions of Agriculture Secretary William Dar to counter such economic sabotage. However, Salceda said he remains resolute to call out alleged protectors of smugglers in the government. The Finance Department insisted tax exemption for teachers' honoraria and allowances is not the best way to help their sectors. DOF Director for Policy Research and Liaison Arvin Quiñones said the government really needs to support teachers, but not through tax exemption. The department made its point despite calls from some senators to grant exemption on teachers' increased election allowances. Earlier, the Education Department said they had already requested tax exemption along with the support of the Bureau of Internal Revenue and Commission on Elections. More stories from the newsroom. The Philippine economy must grow by 6% more to cut pandemic-related debt. And an educator in Catanduanes promotes Abaca paper as artwork material. Details ahead, stay with the PNA Newsroom.
Hi everyone, James Deacon here. The COVID-19 vaccines are finally here, and the government wants to make sure the vaccines reach us. So let's do our part by making sure that we get registered to be included in the vaccination list of our LGU. You can register right in the comfort and safety of your own homes through your LGU's online registration platform. You can also register on-site in the vaccination venues or through your barangay. Remember, getting vaccinated is the first step towards ending this pandemic. So let's do our part as disciplined citizens. Bida ang may disiplina. Magpakarehistro at magpabakuna para sa ligtas na pamilya, ligtas na bayan.
In our business news, the Philippine economy needs to grow 6% faster than its pre-pandemic level to reduce debt incurred due to the COVID-19 crisis. Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III said there is no issue regarding the repayment of debts since these have favorable interest rates and terms. Around $22.5 billion have been raised in budgetary support financing, as well as $3.25 billion in grants and loans for pandemic response. Moreover, the Interagency Development Budget Coordination Committee set the gross domestic product target for this year from 7 to 9% for 20 to 23, while 6 to 7% for 20 to 24. Dominguez noted the next administration should decide na policies and stick to strict fiscal discipline to grow out of debt. In continued efforts to rehabilitate the war-torn Marawi city, 4 additional barangay complexes have been opened to accommodate formerly displaced residents and spur development. More on this from Claire Gighe.
The Task Force Bangon Marawi or TFBM inaugurated another 4 barangay complexes inside the most affected area or MAA of Marawi City as part of the massive rehabilitation efforts to ensure that the only Islamic city in the country will rise better and stronger. TFBM Chief Secretary Eduardo Del Rosario led the ribbon-cutting ceremonies for the newly completed structures in barangays West Marinaot, Bangalo, Lumbaca Madaya, and Dansalan. Each barangay complex is equipped with a madrasa and health center in line with efforts to provide quality education and healthcare services to Marawi citizens.
Nakalabing tatlo na tayo. We need to construct 11 more, and it is undergoing construction in different stages of completion.
Del Rosario said the construction of barangay complexes in the 24 barangays inside MAA is part of the Marawi rehabilitation, citing the importance of good governance in spurring development in the war-torn city. For the 72 barangays outside MAA, the TFBM chief disclosed that they have allocated 2 million pesos each for the construction of barangay halls, of which funds were already released last year for 40 barangays. This year, he said they will be releasing the funds for the remaining 32 barangays. The housing TAR also conducted an ocular inspection at the permanent shelter site in Barangay Patani, which is set to be turned over to displaced families next month. He likewise conducted progress checks on other ongoing projects in MAA, such as the Peace Memorial Park, Rizal Park, School of Living Tradition, Marawi Museum, Grand Padian Market, Sarimanok Sports Stadium, and Marawi Convention Center. These structures are set to be inaugurated next month in time for the Marawi Week of Peace celebration. Del Rosario reiterated that the majority of the Marawi rehabilitation projects will be completed by June 30 of this year.
With the budget being given to us on a yearly basis, budget given in 2019 and 2020 will be completed definitely by June 30. But projects given in 2021 and given in 2022 will be completed by December. But majority of the projects will be completed by June 30.
The TFBM chief capped his visit with an iftar or breaking of fast with Marawi's traditional leaders to show respect and solidarity with them this Ramadan month. For PNA Newsroom, Claire Gighe of the Philippine Information Agency, Lanao del Sur.
National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict spokesperson Lorraine Badoy called the complaint by Rappler CEO Maria Ressa against the task force as one more attempt by the CPP-NPA-NDF to silence them. Ressa filed an administrative complaint before the Office of the Ombudsman against Badoy over certain posts and articles against her. In turn, Badoy filed a counter-affidavit against the alleged legal front of the CPP-NPA-NDF. She accused Rappler of being a communist terrorist organization mouthpiece. Badoy insisted nothing can stop them from speaking the truth. Meanwhile, former NPA cadre Jeffrey Eric Celis said Reza cannot accuse former rebels of red tagging because what they say about the CPP, NPA, NDF is based on direct personal knowledge. In sports, the Amoranto Sports Complex is now under renovation to help boost the morale of homegrown athletes. The renovation includes building a new arena, Olympic-sized swimming pool, a tennis court area, and parking building. It will also have spaces where the QC LGU can host competitions and other public gatherings. Mayor Joy Belmonte said its completion is expected before the year ends. She said the right facilities will also help local athletes in training and preparations for competitions. An exhibit at the Catanduanes State University showing off the potential of Abaca paper as art material. 26 local artists joined the exhibit where Abaca paper was used as a canvas material. CATSU President Dr. Patrick Alain Azanza said the exhibit aims to promote its alternative uses. 35-year-old collector Azanza added that a coffee table book featuring the art exhibit would be launched soon. The exhibit will run for the whole month of April. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. The Commission on Elections postpones its last leg of presidential and vice presidential debates as financial issues mars the holding of the event. Comelec requires daycare centers to open on Election Day where mothers may leave their children as they vote. The government gears up for the rollout of the second COVID-19 booster shots expected to start next week. And an art exhibit in Catanduanes shows that Abaca paper may also serve as an art material. As Filipinos, we all have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19. So remember, wear face masks and face shields, wash your hands often, practice safe physical distancing, go out only for essential reasons, and get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect ourselves, our families, and the community. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. For more news content, check our webpage or log on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. You may also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. We tell stories that inspire change. I'm Marita Muaje. Stay safe and have a good day.